Hey, this is the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. It's all about making change easy. We all think it's difficult, but it's not. I want you to expect change. I want you to feel that you can do this and know that you can do this. And it doesn't have to be hard. And there's a little bit of swearing in this, not too much, I hope, but I just got passionate about this. So if you'd like to know how to make change easy, have a listen after this. Hey, welcome to the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. So pleased you're here. Your time is valuable and precious. So what I would like to do is fill that time that you share with me with the most shiny golden nuggets to help improve your life, to get your goals, your wishes, your dreams to come to fruition quicker, bigger, better than you could ever imagine. Using your imagination, using hypnosis, using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, all of that, using all things of the mind. No brain hacks, but real solid processes to deconstruct what people do to become great. And then find the processes that we can install that in ourselves to support you in your dreams and get what you really want in life. Anyway, who am I? I'm Paul Cloughie, and just going to have conversations with you in this podcast and get you thinking, but also share those processes because we're going to have so much fun. That's it. We're going to have fun for a change because we can sit down for a spell and have more fun than we can stand, creating the world we want to live in and be the person we want to be in that world. The only limitation is your imagination. And you got bucket loads, by the way, bucket loads. Have a listen. You really must.
Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Cloughie. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friend. Good to have you back. Thank you for your time. Precious, isn't it, time? There's only so much of it, I guess, and how we use it. So hopefully you're going to find this use of your time, listening to me, prattling on, is going to be something that is useful. There's going to be golden nuggets. Because you see, I said the title of this is Making Change Easy, but I want to start off with something a bit weird, I guess, or counterintuitive, which is a lovely word to try to sell yourself. Everyone has counterintuitive things because obviously they're the things. But you see, understanding your issue is an issue. And understanding your issue isn't serving you is actually not understanding the issue. I actually had this on a coaching call where someone said, I really understand consciously how this issue is not serving me. And my first statement to him was, well, you don't understand it. You what? You see, understanding your issue constantly does absolutely bloody diddly squat. Nothing, nada. Unless, and there is an unless it makes you decide to change. Yeah, I guess that, because you see, that's what normally happens, isn't it? It's only when it gets big enough to poke you in the eye, kick you out the bum. You can't miss it. Basically saying to you, sucker. And that's what happens most of the time. You see, we think we can consciously handle it. Clients come to me, and it's when we talk about it, they've had this issue, albeit in smaller doses, less intense, for bloody years. And then they come to me and say, well, it's so big. Yeah, and it's generalized into all different areas of my life, because we've talked about this so many times, that things do generalize. And the thing is, once we get to understand it sort of consciously, in a different way I'm going to explain in a moment, that's when we seem to get it. And then we realize we are so much more than we think we are. And it doesn't have to be too hard. You remember a little while ago, we did the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps, which was part of the recipe of success. And these just all fit together with a little bit of trust. That was, by the way, hashtag 277. But I'm going off the point. You see, understanding your issue consciously is okay, I guess. But if you understood it so bloody well, wouldn't it go? And the thing is, it doesn't. See, when you wake up in the morning, and this could be different for anybody, but I think it's the same for everybody. Nice bit of generalization there, Cloughie. You see, you don't consciously choose to get anxious, do you? You don't choose that. You don't choose to say, well, today I'm going to be anxious about everything. No, sometimes what you do is you go, do you know what? Today is going to be different. That's normally the case. Today is going to be different. I'm not going to be frightened. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. And then guess what happens? Something happens. Bloody hell, boom. And it all kicks off again. Now imagine this. This is something I'm going to try to explain to you without showing it to you, because I normally show this to my clients to get not their conscious mind to understand it, but it is a conscious understanding, but also get their unconscious mind to understand. You see, that's where the change comes from. When your unconscious mind and your and your conscious mind understand there's a conflict going on. What your unconscious mind is trying to do for you, we call it the positive intention, and what it's using and what the result, the behaviors and emotions and all that stuff, the result you're getting is completely at odds with that intention. It's like damn near reverse. And that's called a conflict. So imagine this. Imagine this. If you had a blank piece of paper, completely blank, and I don't know what your beliefs are, but imagine this is how you came into the world. You're a clean slate, and you're here to learn and take those learnings and do good stuff. Be the person you really want to be. Be the person you were put on this earth to be. I think we can all agree that, can't we? A clean slate. A wonderful, clean, conscious and unconscious mind. And then something happens. And if you could imagine drawing like a jaggedy circle in the middle of that, or somewhere in that piece of paper, and something happens, and a part of your unconscious mind says, I'm going to do something about this, because I didn't like it. And it says, do you know what? I'm going to give you this feeling. Maybe it's an anxious feeling. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's panic. Maybe it's depression. Maybe there's a culmination of all of these. Maybe a bit of grief, a bit of sadness. And I'm going to give you some negative beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. And maybe there's a little bit of physical stuff as well. I feel tired. I feel I just can't do it. And you get all this stuff. All because this part of you wants to protect you. Has a positive intention. The first rung of the ladder of intentions would be safety. I don't want you to do this because when it happened last time, it wasn't very nice. So I'm going to frighten you a little bit so you don't do it, or I'm going to give you that fear and anxiety so you make sure you try to prepare so well. In fact, I'll keep giving you more anxiety so you get overwhelmed. But damn, that's a part of the conflict. Don't go there yet. But it's your unconscious mind gives you all this stuff, these emotions, these negative beliefs. I'm not good enough because, well, if I think I'm not good enough, maybe I'll try doubly harder or I won't do it. But either way, then I won't feel those old feelings because I'll either be triply good enough or I just won't do it. And isn't that what happens to us? We either so we want to be a perfectionist and we do so much so we don't fail. We don't get those bad feelings. Or we step away. We just don't do it. But both of those, how do you feel? Well, you feel a failure sometimes. Most of the time, you still feel anxious. You still feel unsafe. Now then, what happens is, if you can imagine a little line coming from the left into that little circle with all those limiting beliefs and emotions and behaviors and things like that, that's you waking up in the morning. You're not thinking about anything. You don't even think sometimes this is not going to be a frightening day. You just wake up and go, it's a good day. I'm above ground. And then out of the blue, boom, something triggers it and you fire off these emotions, these beliefs, negative behaviors, negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, and have this fear, this anxiety. And then without warning, sometimes it just disappears again. And then maybe it fires itself off again. Something triggers it off again in that day. Or it just waits till the next time. And it like, you can imagine a loop coming back outside that circle, back to the beginning again. And it's a continuous set of triggering and then untriggering, as it were. And it's bloody awful, isn't it? But hey, just imagine that piece of paper, everything out, because that's your unconscious mind. It was completely blank. It was completely clean for you to learn. But just imagine everything outside that circle on that blank piece of paper is the rest of your unconscious mind. And the rest of the time, it's absolutely wonderful. You feel safe because you just are safe. You don't feel safe, but you are safe. You're doing all the things you want. You may be in the flow. You might be following your passion. You may be doing something, anything. But everything outside that little circle with those negative beliefs, emotions and physical stuff is like the solution, isn't it? Because it's not the problem. You see, if that's not the problem and the problem's in that little circle, all of that jaggedy circle, then your unconscious mind wants to maybe just look at that and go, well, I know when I'm doing this, I'm not getting what I want. And everything outside of this is the solution. Because I want to keep you safe. I want to keep you successful. I want to make you comfortable. I want you to live the life that you were put on this earth for. And in fact, everything inside that circle is not doing that, and everything outside the circle is doing it. So what will that part of you do when it truly realizes what it's doing is not getting the solution? It's actually in conflict then. Everything it's doing is in conflict with its positive intention to keep you safe and have all that success and love and joy and all that stuff. To me, it's got to go, oh, fuck it, or something similar. No. But it then goes, I need what's on the outside, and I've got to stop doing what's on the inside, because it's like a prime directive of your unconscious mind. One of the prime directives is it's got to keep you safe and comfortable. There's all the healing stuff and everything else, keep you healthy, but it's got to keep you safe. And when it realizes it's not doing what its prime directive is, it has to change. It might swear again. I'm going to try not to swear in this podcast, but I get excited about it, and those words come out sometimes, so I hope I don't offend you. But the thing is, it might go, F it, but how do I change? I don't know how to change. Because it hasn't changed for such a long time, maybe. Because if you think about that feeling that you have right now, if you are anxious or you're guilty or you're sad or something like that, think of that feeling and then go back maybe 10 years in the past. I think you'll still find that feeling is there or was there, but at a less intensity. You see, you had it before and your unconscious mind has been working like hell it's just been working so hard, putting all its energy in to try to protect you. And, well, it worked once. It's no longer working and you're getting bigger. You're getting more things are coming up, your experiences. And the thing is, what's happened is your unconscious mind has, missed out all those experiences between the very first time and now. But now, as you listen to this and you visualize that blank piece of paper being the total of your unconscious mind, and that little circle with that part of you that's trying to do something, suddenly realizing that it's not doing what it wants, or it's not doing what it's trying to do, that positive intention, and it wants what every part of you has that isn't the problem, everything outside. It's got to implode and explode, hasn't it? It's got to find a better way so he can use that stuff that's working. And you see, that's when we understand the conflict. Now, if you want, why don't you just go back to #273, how to stop from the fear, or I get it right, Cloughie, how to step away from fear and anxiety. That's part of this. But I just know that if you didn't get it then, and you will get it when you get it, if you listen to it again, this little explanation, this metaphor, will get your unconscious mind to realize it's in conflict. Now, you see, you both get it. Well, more importantly, The important one gets it. And that's not you, your conscious mind. It's your unconscious mind. And when he or she gets it, it's going to look for a solution, but he doesn't really know how. Because he's been doing this stuff that sort of worked, but doesn't work. So if everything outside of the problem, the issue, is not the problem, is not the issue, then we can begin to pick how you would like to feel from that outside, everything which is not the problem. And if you knew that, you'd be able to just feel it, wouldn't you? Feel what you want. So let's think of this. Let's just think about this. Let's do a general one. A general one, Cloughie? Yeah, general one. So if you like, you might need to close your eyes or do something like that. So if you're driving or anything like that, you can either just listen but don't do it. Just listen to the concept of it, get the intellectual experience, but then come back. You've got to come back and do it. But if it's okay, we'll go through it. And if you want to reinforce it, and I'll repeat this again in the end, go to my very first real podcast, the first episode. It's actually the #2. And there's even a hypnosis track, #2.1. Where'd you get those from? paulcloughonline.com/podcast. There's 50 plus, but you then, when you get into that, you go right down to the bottom of the page and you can do that. But you can begin just to turn on that feeling of comfortable. So let's just do a general one. Now, how would you like to feel? Let's just think of a time when you were a little bit anxious. And just think, well, instead of anxiety, how would I like to feel? And when you make that decision, you can maybe think of a time. Think of a time when you had that. Or even if you can't think of a time, sometimes you can just imagine what you'd like to feel instead. And just visualize yourself being that way. What will you see when you're this way? When you're feeling this way, what will you see? How will you see the world? And how will you speak to yourself with your inner voice when you feel this way? Listen to the voice now. Listen to those words, the tone of the voice. When you feel this way, maybe there's a smell and a taste in the air. When you feel this way. And as you see what you see and hear what you hear, really just allow those feelings to come into your body. And then intensify it. And just keep making it better. Making it more. And just feel those feelings. Maybe you could just see the color of those feelings. This feeling. And make that color more pure. Maybe just a little bit brighter. Maybe you could imagine which way it turns, because every emotion has to turn. It starts here, goes around, and then comes back to the beginning and starts again. And if you just imagine, you don't have to know exactly the way it turns, but just imagine the way you think it turns. Your unconscious mind is here to help. And as you do that, notice as you turn it just a little bit faster, just a little bit. That feeling, that lovely feeling, becomes more intense. The color becomes more pure. Maybe that internal voice becomes even more you, supporting you. And then just maybe say these words, this or something better. That's right. And as you do that, feel the feelings. Maybe give it a word. Give this feeling a word that just seems to come with it. Maybe there's a symbol that comes to mind that just comes with it. And if you get a symbol and you have a word, we can all have a word, but if that symbol's there, or just the colour, you can then say this or something better again. And just open your eyes and come back to me. Because doesn't that feel good? You're back. And who did that? Who did that? You're going to say, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, you did it, Cloughie. And you know I didn't. Because you did it. I just guided you there. You're the one driving the bus. I was just the map, as it were. What would happen if you just did that? How long would we take on that? Probably 3 minutes. What would happen if you did that just twice a day? Just going to that feeling. Yeah, it would make a difference, wouldn't it? Because if you think about it, it feels good. And if it feels good, your unconscious mind is going to start recognizing it, especially as we've put the feeling how you think you would feel better instead of having the problem, that issue. And we haven't even put it to a specific event yet. We just got to the feeling and we're getting saying to your unconscious mind, this or something better. And then you're reinforcing it. 6 minutes a day, that's twice a day, 3 minutes a time. And if you wanted to, as I say, you can go to #2, which is just feeling comfortable. And it's a lovely thing. I'm going to redo that. I know I'm going to redo that one because it was my first one. I want to get a better audio quality and go through it. But it's good. It is good. It is such a wonderful process. I teach it to so many of my clients and I do it myself. And it just bloody works. And this would reframe and reinforce what I've just done. Because that gets into more specifics. But it works so wonderfully well for anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. And everything else now decided. You see, you could just do that for twice a day, 3 minutes each time. And if you wanted to, and it is a good thing to do, you'd put it on a little diary and you just put a little tick or you draw the symbol out. And then you draw it out again for the second time that day. And you'll notice on your diary, those marks become sequential, day by day by day. And then you won't want to break the sequence. So even if you don't, I'm feeling pretty good. No, I'm not going to break that sequence. And that reinforces it even more. And that's such a simple, silly little thing. But it's not silly, but it is simple and it's so powerful. When you generate that sequence, you will not want to break that chain. I guarantee that. And that just makes it even stronger. And you're showing your unconscious mind how determined you are consciously. You've now got the will to do whatever it takes. There. But then you can get more specific. So you can go from this general one, this new sort of comfortable, being okay, but I wonder what you could think of even more. So maybe you could go to what you ultimately like to feel like. But what's the next little small step where you could develop this feeling by adding to it? So you might think of a time, either in the past, because that's quite a good thing to use as a reference. You say, what can I learn from this? What emotion would have been a better emotion? Or what behavior would have been a better behavior and how would that make me feel? And then when you think of that feeling, the one we've just done, you add to it. You add to it this new feeling. Or if you think in the future, I'm coming up to this, a similar event. Now, learning from the past, how would I like to feel even more? What could I add to this feeling, the one we've done with Cloughie, to make it even more intense? Just what's the next step? One smaller step towards it. So it's like building up the recipe, but it's building up the intensity, small steps towards how you would ultimately like to be. Yeah. And then you keep doing that. So you're doing it twice a day now, or more, but you're also then going through, when you go through those type of events, you're going to notice how much different they are, how much better they are, and you can add to it again. And maybe you could visualize it turning into something different, and then making it even more than 5 minutes a day, more often. Get that sequence going so you'll never break it. Now, you've got something else you could do. What? Something else on top of this, Paul? What, a whole 5 or 6, 7, 10 minutes a day doing all this work? So tiring. But is it, though? Feeling good. And guess what happens? We've talked about this before. You get what you think about most of the time, whether you like it or not. Well, we're now just thinking of either doing an event better or just feeling bloody good, especially in regard to some of those events, but certainly about that old conflict, because we say this or something better, this works. And your unconscious mind's going, I'm getting this now because I didn't know how, but we've just done how. We've gone through the hows. These are the type of resources that I've got that I could use. And you're visualizing it out there. And then you can reinforce it again. How do you do that? I'm going to tell you. Hang on. You see, I'm going to be really radical. Only because I like the word radical and counterintuitive. I want you to trust your unconscious mind. How? Well, not the how to trust. You know how to trust them. And you're trusting yourself anyway. And you've gone through these processes. But I want you to trust your unconscious mind too. If you've signed up to the hypnosis tracks, if you've got a moment in a day, well, not a moment, it's going to be about 20 minutes. Just go down that list and note it and just say to your unconscious mind, I wonder which one would serve me well today to make these changes easier. And which one draws your attention? Which one are you attracted to? Which one jumps off the screen? And when it does, download it. And that's why they are on a separate web page. So you can download it. You don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi cutting out and all this stuff or whatever. You've got it there and you've got it forever. And then you find that quiet space where you won't be disturbed. And then you play the hypnosis track. So remember to sign up, paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Get that, get the newsletter, get a little video of me every month. And maybe you do the same thing. Same thing with the episodes. And there's bloody hundreds of them now. But maybe you were just say it was on, I use Castbox quite a lot. And I just flicked the list of all the episodes. And I flicked it, and see where it stopped. And go on that page now, which one am I attracted to? And then do it. And just listen to that one. And then share it. And here's the thing about that. When you share these things, and you can share them just by talking about them, and especially do like you sharing about, obviously like to share the link and things like that. That's so people don't have to, well, they don't forget then, do they? They can just click on the link. But if you share them the link, but also share them verbally, because when you hear yourself speak, trying to explain it, you'll get either to understand it even deeper, or you'll realize there's bits missing that you need to go back and understand even more. But that's the ultimate way to learn, being able to teach somebody else. There. So we can get more and more specific, tuned up. And the thing is, if you really want to be more specific than that, tuned in, let me know. Let me know what you would need to be more specific for that specific event or for that specific way you feel. And we'll do an episode, whether it's a 5-minute quickie or a longer episode. We'll talk about it. Not you. Obviously, I was going to say unanimous. Anonymous is the word I was searching for. But we can do an episode around it and a process to get it for you. Or you can take advantage of that massive discount you get because you've signed up to the hypnosis tracks, and you can go straight into, say, like the premium thing I've done called Supreme Inner Confidence, which will take you through a lot of this anyway, but even deeper still. And it's got some really good processes, clearing away the past, installing stuff into the present, and then letting it really come to fruition in the future. There's also 1 or 2 lovely premium hypnosis tracks there as well, like creating an inner retreat and inner mind palace. things like that, or just being able to relax deeply. But you can take advantage of them. And I'm saying that quite honestly. You could take advantage because there's a money-back guarantee. The time it takes to listen, you can do before those 30 days. And to be honest, I'll give you the money back if it's a little bit later anyway. If it wasn't for you, because it's not always for you, but take advantage of it and do it. You see, the premium ones are a little bit more guided, I guess, because they go through a sequence of, say, like clearing the past, making sure the present's good, and how everything from the past and the present, what we've learned, can now be put into the future. But hey, I've given you an idea how to do it by trusting your unconscious mind, by looking at the free hypnosis and obviously all the free episodes, but also you can take it one step further. And that way we really are helping your unconscious mind to make those changes where it didn't know how, to realize it's not performing in your best interests, although it's trying to, desperately trying to. And here's the thing. I always say this to my clients. You know how tired you feel doing this issue? And it's bloody hard work, isn't it? Keeping up this fear, keeping up this anxiety, keeping up this sadness, keeping up this depression, keeping up this OCD, or keeping up whatever. And how tiring is it when you're doing the stuff you love? It's not, is it? When you're in the flow, it is so, well, you could do it forever. Now, what would happen then if you took all that energy, the energy that you've in the past been putting into running that issue and having that conflict, to then suddenly turn it into all of this? Those 5 or 10 minutes a day, listen to a hypnosis track would be easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but also you'd be doing the stuff that you love. And your unconscious mind would be learning from that too. And from there, it just keeps going. It's awesome. So, as I say, but if, and I'm going to I like to go through this a little bit just to make sure. If you do have an issue that you think is a little bit more than just trusting your unconscious mind, because like I say, I see clients one-to-one. I see clients online, and they need help because this issue has grown into a way that they need quick help. They need a professional help, put it that way. Well, if you feel like that, don't be an adult. What do you mean, Cloughie? Don't be an adult. Don't be dopey. Not dope, but dopey. That's not good. That's being silly. An adult puts up with stuff, and you've been putting up with stuff for bloody years. So go and find help, one-to-one. Find a good therapist. Not a therapist that will say it'll be years, it'll be months, it'll be weeks and weeks and weeks, because that's not the therapist you want. You want a therapist who says, I'll come and help you, or you'll come here to me, and we'll help you in the next 2 to 3 sessions. That's it, you'll be done. And the thing is, if you do that and do what we've been talking about only supports that change, because it gives you momentum to go through, to help, to foster the change. And if you are having problems with that, finding people who take more than 3 sessions, let me know. I'll see what I can do to help. And the thing is, finally, so you've got the things we've been talking about. You've got one-to-one help if you really need it. But finally, don't just listen to this and go, yeah, that sounds absolutely spot on, Cloughie. It is spot on. You are right, hitting the hammer on the nail, or hitting the hammer with the nail, or whatever. But not everything is a nail just because you've got a hammer. Remember that. But the thing is, I don't know where that came from, but it just slipped into my mind. But don't just listen to this and understand it intellectually, because that doesn't work, does it? You have to do it. Doing it, even if it's only bit by bit. And I'm asking you, and I'm suggesting that you do it bit by bit. Because when you do it bit by bit, it will pay dividends, because a small step will lead to a smaller step that's slightly bigger, and the next smaller step will be a little bit bigger, and then you'll be skipping, and then you'll be running, and then you'll just be enjoying life. And when you look back, you'll go, bloody hell, Cloughie was right. I didn't realize how much I could change, how quick I could change. But I've done it. And then you feel absolutely bloody awesome. You feel supreme. Supreme inner confidence. But you do. So instead of, because when you only listen to it and don't do it, you get this. When you look back and you go, oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd have. That's what we call it. I wish I'd have. Or I should have done. I should have. I wish I'd have and I should have. Because you didn't do it. You didn't realize it. You didn't do it. But when you look back and make these small changes day by day by day by day, you look back and go, fucking hell, Cloughie was right. I am now, oh, what's next? That's how much I can change by myself. Wow, what else? Because I've changed so much. You see, some of my notes I've made, I put, what did I want to tell you? Now, it's sort of like a meta thing, but it's more than just hope. I want you to expect change, because when you expect it, that's what you get. You get what you think about most of the time, whether you like it or not. So if you start to expect it and you start doing this stuff, that's what you're going to get. And was it difficult? Is it difficult? Absolutely bloody not. So how do I want you to feel? I can do this. I expect the result because I can do this. And why is this important to you? I always like to think, what's the important? Why is this important to you? You see, when you start to realize right now that you can do more than you could ever imagine, you can do more than you could ever imagine. And I thought to myself, why is it important to me to do this type of stuff? Because I'm doing more than I could ever imagine, day by day. Whoa. And that's why I thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for this opportunity for allowing me to do more than I can imagine, day by day. I did have a little write in my journal. This is a little personal bit, which is going to come out later, I think. A little talk to myself of how I can use what we talk about, where it comes from, and what's the intention for my journaling to give me the inspiration to talk about all this stuff. Because I don't know I know where it all comes from, but I don't know where it all comes from. Because if you look, we're about, on the longer podcasts, I think it's hashtag, it's be about 278. So let's say 280. 280 longer podcasts. And we've got something like 300 plus FMQs. That's massive for little old me. Anyway, it's massive for little old me. That's doing what I could never imagine. Looking back now, I'm going, wow. Step by step, Cloughie. You were pretty ropey at the beginning. You were clunky. Hopefully I'm getting a little better. I'm certainly a lot more relaxed about it now. And I think I'm doing things more, not clinically, because that's a bit too, but I'm doing it hopefully a bit clearer. But I'm doing things with more intention, and I'm doing things I think that really matter, that make a difference. And sometimes I swear I know and I apologize for that. And sometimes I will repeat myself, but repetition is the mother of skill. Tony Robbins used to say that, and I believe him. Repetition is the mother of skill. And practice makes permanent, not perfect. We don't want perfect. We want permanent. So good practice makes good permanent, which is what we're doing. When you think about that 5 minutes every day, feeling the feeling, how you want to feel. Feels good if you just do it and it doesn't do anything. It would feel good for 5-10 minutes a day. That's got to be something. And I know it will do something. And I said right at the beginning, this is so simple. That's right. In simplicity, there's genius. Because things like change doesn't have to be hard. It only has to be as hard as you want to make it. And then realize you can make it a little bit simpler. Until instead of having an issue, I'm going right at the beginning now, instead of having an issue that pokes you in the eye or kicks you up the bum, your imagination for what you want pokes you in the eye and kicks you up the bum and says, come on, sucker, let's do some more. Let's have fun. More fun than we can stand. Let's, like that piece of paper, as you first came into this world, here to follow your mission, your vision, follow your passion. You're on this world for a reason. This will make it. We'll certainly be part of it. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I made it clear. And I would love you to share this, as I said, orally, verbally, so you get to know it. But I'd also like you to share it to allow other people to notice how change can be easy, and they can do this, and they can expect good things to happen. And it's simple, it's easy, and it just takes a little bit of time per day. So if you would, please share this episode to everyone you know and ask them to share it to twice as many people as they know. Hard to do, but it's like pay it forward. Because that would be awesome. And remember, sign up for those bloody hypnosis tracks I'm doing. They're all free. There's 50 plus. They're NLP processes and hypnosis, and they're really good. Trust your intuition. And you've also got those premium things with a massive discount if you sign up to the hypnosis tracks. Where did you get all those? I'll repeat them now. It's paulcloughonline.com/podcast. There for the free hypnosis tracks, so you can download and keep forever. paulcloughonline.com, just that one, and that'll come to the front page, and you can scroll down and have a look at everything there. And you've got the code for a discount from the newsletter and for signing on at the hypnosis tracks. And also, if you need to get in touch for anything, so the feedback, how can I do things better, what issues you'd like to address, what didn't work or what does work, so we can share even our successes, share our successes, celebrate our successes. And I'm going to talk about that soon as well, and the reason for doing it. So let me know, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. That's the email address. It only comes to me. You'll get a personal reply. And I don't share the emails. So there you go. So, talking to your unconscious mind, your conscious mind can disappear for a moment. I wonder, talking to you, the unconscious mind, what would it be like to surprise them, surprise their conscious mind, and make them feel happy for no reason at all? There you go. The conscious mind, you can come back to me. You can now all fly. Fly away, my friends, and have more fun than you can stand. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.